Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Call of Duty 1, and now we are embarking on the best part of the game. I mean, just hands down, no argument. This is by far the best part of the game. It is great as far as action goes, and in my humble opinion, it is one of the best stories told in a first-person shooter game in the last 10 years, easily. And with me, while we're going through this odyssey, is...
Hey everybody, it's the last Robokai here, and I feel like I'm gonna have to really put my appreciation goggles on for this one because it's been hyped up by the thread, it's been hyped up by Cool Guy. As I keep saying, never played a Call of Duty game in my life, so really looking forward to this. For me, conflict between Germany and Russia in World War II is one that I only know like the barest minimum about. I haven't even seen Enemy at the Gates, which is something everyone brings up as a reference when they talk about it. So clean slate.
Yeah, these first couple of missions are actually taken almost scene by scene from Enemy at the Gates. So there's a good reason that people are talking about that. For those of you at home who are like Robokai and have not seen any of this before, we have made something of a habit of not talking while the game is talking. Well, suffice it to say, the first about 5 to 10 minutes of this video, the game is talking so loudly, non-verbally, that it would do it a serious dishonor for us to speak a single word over it. So, until a certain Major Zubov is mentioned, we will be being silent. We'll see you in there, folks.
Bye bye.
Comrades of the Soviet Union, almost 1 year has passed since the German invaders set foot upon the soil of our motherland. They have advanced deep into the Soviet Union, capturing city after city, raping, murdering, and robbing the Soviet people. Although our situation grows desperate, we have one last hope of defense. The city that bears our great leader's name, Stalingrad. Comrades, many of your countrymen are already there, defying the Germans at every step. Soon you will stand alongside them, and you will not fail to defeat our fascist enemies. No one shall take even one step backwards. Commissars will execute cowards on sight, giving faithful soldiers a chance to do their duty. The motherland is counting on you to achieve victory at Stalingrad.
Comrades, this day will be the proudest day you have ever lived. You will fight the fascist Nazi invaders with all your strength. For each and every fallen Soviet soldier, you will make them pay with 10 of them. There will be no mercy for defeatists, cowards, or traitors. Anyone caught deserting his post will be shot. Remember great Comrade Stalin's order. Not one step backwards. You will be well equipped for the battles that lie ahead. You will have food, water, weapons, and plenty of ammunition. What do you suppose the Germans have? Nothing. Their supply lines are stretched too thin. Their dash to the Volga has left them without the means to bring us a proper fight. With our superior strength in numbers and our boundless courage, victory is ours. We shall stop the fascist invaders. There! At Stalingrad!
lucky, or you have a small head. We'll be safer in that building down there. Don't worry about that, Commissar. I'll take care of him. Ready? Okay, go, go!
Die, you coward!
Get us some artillery support, Sergeant! I'm almost out of ammunition! We're going to lose the docks!
What the hell do you think I am trying to do, comrade? What? Repeat the last message. I can barely hear you, Major. Speak up! Artillery is in position. Out fire! I want a full barrage along the top of the riverbank immediately! Smash those precious bastards! Fire up there! Everyone, get your heads down!
The Germans are pulling back! Come on, comrades! We're retaking this! Fire out! Keep going forward! Up your gun and shoot! No retreat! Not one step back! No mercy! Open fire! No hesitation, comrades! Do not take one step backwards!
For Mother Russia, comrades! Do not turn your back on her!
Victory or death!
Retaken Red Square. Will report to him from here on out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right?
That was pretty crazy. All the hype in the world did not prepare me for that opening sequence at all. That was quite possibly one of the most phenomenal openings to any campaign I've ever seen.
The greatest part about all of it is that it was just as interactive as it seems. I mean, you can die at any moment in there. Just surviving the suicide run to get to Makarov, that is not guaranteed. This game is not holding your hand at all. You've got to be lucky and tactical with your movements and everything like that. And it's just, it is an absolutely fantastic sequence.
Only imagine what people would have thought when they get handed the ammo and not the gun. Any other game might have, might have given you the gun, and I still think a lot of games would still have given you the gun, but they gave you the ammo.
Yup, and you saw me trying to scrounge around for guns beforehand. I was following the commissar's order. When the man with the rifle is killed, you pick up the rifle and shoot. The problem is that artillery just threw the most in the gun into the river. It's one of the most memorable sequences in gaming that I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing.
Well, I just struggle to find the words. They've captured an absolutely horrible battle extremely well, I feel.
Shoot me there! Grenade!
Like now we're getting into the meat of the actual walkie shooting part. And it's such a contrast to everywhere like where we've been before, because we've been in foresty areas and mansions and stuff, but here it's really just urban, the thickest of aspects.
There are a number of other things that this campaign does very, very right compared to some of the other campaigns. I mean, number one, these atmospherics are done very well. I mean, the ruined city is a little bit easier to move in forests to begin with, but like the squad I'm with, all of them are mortal, and that will continue to be generally a thing. There's only one or two times that you have immortal squad mates in the Russian campaign, but it replenishes your squad mates relatively frequently, so you're also very rarely alone.
Everyone's being pushed onwards.
Get down!
That's a grenade!
You can tell it's time to go, and everybody else is quite rightly taking some steps backwards.
Yeah, well, there's no commissars around, it's fine.
Yeah, just like the sequence where the sniper takes out the commissar, just so you can go backwards a little to get a more advantageous position.
Borodin is one of those guys that, he's only on screen for about 3 or 5 minutes, but you remember him the entire game just because in those 3 to 5 minutes, he is your best buddy on the planet.
And your best buddy is the one making you draw machine gun fire, too.
Isn't it weird? It's just like, under any other circumstances, you would hate the crap out of that guy, but he's at least giving you some direction where everybody else who doesn't have anything resembling direction is just getting killed in like half of a second. When we were running that first time, following a dude waving a Soviet flag, he died about 5 steps in front of me.
Yeah. I'm just sad you couldn't pick it up and keep going.
That was one of the things that I tried to do when I first played this game, was because, well, if I don't have a gun, I might as well carry a flag, damn it. But
I mean, the AI is already going to try and shoot the hell out of you anyway. Might as well make it realistic.
Well, yeah, I might as well be carrying something. My hands aren't doing anything for me right now, but unfortunately you cannot pick up flags.
I'm sure someone later on, basically just do that.
Blinding flash of the obvious after the fact.
I suppose because you did inevitably get to a point where you had to pick up some guns and you'd have to put the flag down, and I don't think there'd be a commissar in the world that would let you put that flag down. At least not in this version of Stalingrad, which is just, I understand it's rebuilding.
Yeah, I'm certain that we'll have some people giving us a little bit more context on, exactly how aggressive the commissars were about shooting people. I'm pretty sure the folks who jumped overboard on the Volga probably would have gotten shot for desertion, but I think there would have been a little bit more slack given to some of the other men.
Oh, and speaking of that sequence, the first thing that stood out to me was the absolute looks of fear on everyone's faces. Like, and the movements. Everybody just, they're all a bunch of generic, no-name people, but God, they look absolutely terrified, and I think that does a great job of making you feel just as terrified once the boat starts exploding.
And the game will force you to, like, when the Stukas are strafing you. You saw that one time when the Stukas strafed the boat, and it killed probably about a quarter of the soldiers on board. If you are not crouched like I was, they will kill you too. You must crouch there, or you will die. As a matter of fact, I had mentioned this at the very start of the Let's Play, where we were picking up a Mosin Nagant there for a little while and shooting with it, and you guys saw how that looked. It just so happened that one day we got a rifle from my old grandfather's farm. My grandfather was a farmer in Minnesota, and actually my ancestors were going back about 100 years. It was my father that left. But my father thought it was a German rifle of some sort. I forgot exactly, what model he said it was, but he was under the impression that it was a German rifle. And me enjoying sport shooting, I came up and I put it to my shoulder, and I put it up to my shoulder, and I had this one very vivid second of flashing back to Red Square. And I was just like, no, Dad, this is a Mosin Nagant. And we went and got, a dictionary of guns from the library, because he didn't believe me. And lo and behold, I was right. I had never touched a Mosin Nagant in real life before, but just shouldering it and seeing the way the iron sight looked and everything, I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, I actually like talking about my gun buddy again, who told me all about the other guns. From talking to him, the Mosin Nagant comes up a lot. I think it's probably one of the most commonly inherited rifles, I think, in any family who's ever had someone who went to World War II.
My grandfather only had it to shoot, wolves on the farm. It was actually one of the most common rifles on the planet for about 20 years or so. So that's why you hear a lot about them. Which is very easy to make, and there were a lot of people in the Soviet Union and its republics that could do it.
There's no way they were going to just take a pipe and stick a magazine and a trigger on it.
Yeah, it does do a little bit more for aesthetics than the Stan ever did. Yes. I was talking over it a little bit earlier, but a few people have commented on the quotes that this game will put on the victory screens and some of the defeat screens that you saw last episode when I died a lot. But the one that we just saw in the last bump is one of my favorites. There are no atheists in foxholes isn't an argument against atheists. It's an argument against foxholes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I've always loved that quote because I grew up in a particularly religious part of North Carolina where people thought it was an argument against atheism. I was just like, you've ever even heard stories of trying to be in one? I mean, you don't even need to be in one. You just need to hear stories from someone who actually has. You'll get the point.
Yeah, it sounds like claustrophobic. want to say also kudos to the map design team on this one, because we've gone through like horribly ruined buildings. We're obviously in a factory sector. We were walking through an area before which looked like it might have been something a bit more related to administration or something like that. You know, it had nice marble walls and whatnot, or at least marble. It looked like we've gone through a very nice variety of locations for what is essentially a ruined city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a rail yard, and we'll actually be seeing a lot of rail yards in the Soviet campaign for good reason. Rail yards are sort of a major strategic location, and you also got to look at what I was talking about with how they replenish your squad mates relatively frequently. I lost all of my squad mates to one MG42 early on, but once we switched levels, I got another 2.
I'm loving Private Jan's walk there. It's just his legs are just doing something really weird.
That's actually what dudes do when they start getting hurt. You notice that John is in orange, and so they start hobbling instead of running.
Just to me, it's like he's like duck walking. He's waddling. Because I don't mean to make light of the idea of somebody hobbling along injured through a continued protracted conflict. Well, that's basically what I assume.
I honestly don't remember if he makes it or not. Let's find out together.
He makes it through this sequence.
Well, the good part about the Soviet campaign is that they give you pretty much the 2 ideal weapons in the freaking game. They do a good job of constantly giving you your scope most on, which is the best sniper rifle in the game because it's the only sniper rifle that doesn't need its chamber reloaded 1 bullet at a time. It can just ratchet in the full clip. And then the PPSH. The PPSH is hands down the best submachine gun in the game. It's got a nearly bottomless clip, or magazine, sorry, and it's the thing is actually relatively accurate if you use short controlled bursts. It's just a fantastic weapon, and in multiplayer, it's little wonder why pretty much like 3/4 of a Soviet team, if one's on the field, will deploy with PPSHs.
That beautiful machine gun sound.
Oh man. Fortunately, once we get to United Offensive, and for those of you who haven't heard yet, yes, I will be doing United Offensive as part of this Let's Play. They finally modeled more than one machine gun there, so we'll hear something beyond just the roar of the MG42.
Not that the moments it pops up still won't be horrifyingly ear-rending, but
Of course, I'm so used to shooting an MG42 gunners that when I see that guy, I'm just like, oh, okay, gotta shoot him.
yeah, health and free.
If there's one thing I do, it's I try to remember where the health is at.
So many killing zones in this place. Good lord.
It's really nice that this is the time we're finally a flanking squad instead of a squad, that should reasonably be a suppression squad. Really easy to find shots when somebody is already engaged with somebody else.
I can't imagine what it would have been like trying to move through a city like this. Like for both sides. Communication must have been extremely difficult. Still there. Must have been extremely difficult.
That and because of all of the tall buildings around, snipers like us were totally common. I mean, they were everywhere. That was one of the things that they did with Enemy at the Gates was. You saw a life of a Soviet sniper, and pretty much all he did every day was fight other snipers.
Over here!
He conquers who endures.
So that is our introduction to the Soviet campaign.
And what an introduction.
Yeah, no shit.
That is...
And it will continue to keep up that level of quality. The next episode is going to include a defensive operation, and it is by far the most intense defensive operation in the game. You thought Peg Bridge was bad? Tune back in.
We've been hyped up on this one as well, and just historically, from what I've been told by people, it's also one of the big turning points of this conflict.
The Red Square fight was really a watershed moment for the Red Army as a whole, simply because that was the time when the retreat stopped. Once the Germans were stopped at Stalingrad, they started a retreat, and it pretty much never stopped until they were back at Berlin.
Chased all the way home.
Pretty much. The thing is that every general in the German army knew it. I mean, if they knew that, God bless, if we lose our steam, we're never going to be able to recover, because for all of the things that Commissar said about, Germans not being able to bring us a proper fight, he was actually more right than wrong. The Germans were just as strained on their resources as anybody, or as the Soviets were, just because they were so far from their center of supply. And also, the Soviets had done a great job of using scorched earth and everything like that, so they had no chance to resupply. Enough hyping up everything that's going to happen, I guess. But so we'll see you next time, folks. Until then, I've been Cool Guy.
I've been the Lost Robo Kai.
Take good care of yourselves and all those you love, folks.